2.6 billion people in India and China are now competing against everyone else. Globalization makes it so easy to make and trade across boundaries. Technology, robotics, so many things now can be done by machine or by computers that if you don't have special skills, you will be replaced by a machine or someone cheaper elsewhere. The global financial crisis is not over yet. The debt, both the public debt as well as the deficits in America, in Europe, even in Japan, it's not over yet. Osama bin Laden may have been killed 2 days ago, but my friends, do you think the chance of another attack is higher or lower now? It is higher now. So the point is, we better still be careful. And when we talk about opportunities, we must be realistic and make sure that our young people truly will have opportunities. So, how do we do that? Number one, the first principle is to recognize that everybody has talent. You know, the problem with the education system of the past is that I just want to see how many A's you can get. Today, that's not good enough. We have to recognize that everybody has talent, everybody has something special which he or she is good at, and our schools must adapt to take care of all those different talents. You see, it's not just a matter of class size. It is a matter of having a sophisticated education system which can cater to academic, to technical, to artistic, to music, to sports, to the whole range of talents, so that young Singaporeans can find what they are good at and, like youth Olympians, compete against the best in the world. And this is an ongoing effort that the Ministry of Education is embarked on. We also need more places in universities. And now, if you are born 15 years ago, 30% of you will go to universities in Singapore. And we're having further efforts for those who go to polys to upgrade and have even more university places. So the point is, many, many more educational opportunities. Beyond education, we need more entrepreneurship. And you know, I used to be the minister in charge of entrepreneurship. One of the schemes which I started, which I'm proud of, is called the Business Angels Scheme. Meaning, you get a young person with a good idea, you get an older, wiser person who is willing to invest in that young person, and the government matches his investment. You establish a relationship between an experienced mentor and a young man and or woman, and you give additional funds. You see the big difference between this and the SDP, which says just give $1 million to 10,000 people, don't ask questions, and suddenly you'll get success. No, success does need to be planned, even for something like entrepreneurship. Another element, very important for opportunities of the future for our young people, is that Singapore must continue to have a diversified portfolio of jobs. And that's why the SDP's recipe of phasing out manufacturing is such a threat to young Singaporeans. Because there are young Singaporeans of the future who will be good at manufacturing, in the same way that there will be others who will be good at services or business, entrepreneurship. The point is that the Singapore of the future must have more options, more choices, not less. Next element is that the Singapore must continue to remain an open and free economy. We cannot be a centrally planned economy. Communism failed. We cannot be a socialist economy. We must make sure our jobs are competitive, our people are productive. Next thing is that if we imagine the future in which all our young people are well educated, have opportunities, have investments in them, and many of them succeed, and we end up with a big and successful middle class. At that point, do you want to have high taxes? the SDP proposes to raise taxes to 30%. This will be a burden on future successful young Singaporeans. Do you want that? No, certainly not. And then yesterday, the SDP suddenly came up with a healthcare plan. You know, I'm amazed at how, in the space of a campaign, they can suddenly come up with grand plans. The common thread in all their grand plans is always $10 billion. Small change, you know. It's always $10 billion. If you ask the Americans what is wrong with the automotive industry in America, one key element is because the healthcare plans in America are in failure. Because they haven't got healthcare finances properly organized, and it becomes a drag on the competitiveness of the economy. In Singapore, we've got the fundamentals right. MediSave, MediShield, MediFund, government subsidies, competition between providers, and choice by people. Now, it is not perfect. I know healthcare costs is an issue, but as a doctor and as a former CEO of the hospital, let me tell you, the cure is not suddenly doubling hospital beds. In fact, if they actually stop to consult the professionals, they would realize that more and more of healthcare is actually being done in an outpatient basis. And in fact, healthcare of the future must be about being taken care of at home. So yes, there is a lot more to be done in healthcare, but it is not the recipe that SDP is giving. Finally, yesterday I met a man who I think will vote against me. And he said, "You are storing too much money in the reserves, not spending enough money today." And that is wrong. I tried to explain to him, I probably did not convince him. Our reserves are like having an oil well for the future. An oil well that will continue to produce benefits and security for young Singaporeans. In fact, even today, our reserves are already giving us money in our budget. Without those reserves, without the investment returns from the reserves, we would be in a deficit. So my friends, I just want to conclude by saying this. This is a difficult election. This is an election conducted in the midst of success and yet a very strong political challenge. This is an election that requires us to rebuild and re-establish the relationship between the people of Singapore and the People's Action Party. We need to remind young Singaporeans the decisions they make in 3 days' time will affect the next 20 years of their life, half their working life. And if we take the wrong choice, the wrong recipe, we will destroy our future. We will destroy our homes, our jobs, and the future of our children. So in all sincerity, I ask you, vote for Singapore. Vote for the future. Vote for the PAP. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the candidates from Holland-Bukit Timah GRC again.
Let's do a cheers together. Majulah Singapore.
Majulah Singapore.
Majulah PAP. Please vote for PAP. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining.